Federal prison. Federal prisons are run by the Federal Bureau of Prisons and hold people who broke federal laws. These are crimes that cross state lines, involve federal agencies, or break national laws, such as large-scale drug trafficking, federal fraud, or immigration offenses. Federal facilities follow the same system across the country, which means rules and classifications are more standardized than in many state systems. They are divided into different security levels, and inmates are placed based on risk and sentence length. State prison. State prisons are operated by individual states and hold people convicted of violating state laws. Most violent crimes, robbery, assault, and many drug offenses end up in state court, so the majority of incarcerated people in the U.S. are in state prisons. Each state has its own correctional department, so conditions, programs, and policies can vary widely. Sentences in state prisons are often longer than in local jails, and inmates may be housed far from their original communities. County jail. County jails are run by local counties and are usually meant for short-term stays. People who have just been arrested are held here while waiting for trial or sentencing. Jails also house individuals serving short sentences, typically less than a year. Because of the constant movement of people coming in and out, jails tend to be more crowded and less stable than prisons. They play a major role in the justice system because they are often the first stop after an arrest. Minimum security prison. Minimum security prisons are designed for inmates considered low risk. These facilities often have dormitory-style housing, limited fencing, and more freedom of movement within the grounds. They usually hold nonviolent offenders or people nearing the end of their sentence. Work programs, education, and community-based activities are more common here, reflecting a focus on preparing inmates for release rather than strict containment. Medium security prison. Medium security prisons have higher levels of supervision and stronger physical barriers, such as reinforced fencing and controlled movement. Inmates typically live in cell-type housing rather than open dorms. Many people here are serving longer sentences or have a more serious criminal history. Daily life is more structured, and staff presence is stronger, but there are still educational and work programs available. Maximum security prison. Maximum security prisons are built to hold inmates who are considered high risk or who have committed serious violent crimes. These facilities have thick walls, multiple security checkpoints, armed guards, and strict movement control. Inmates usually spend much of their time in individual cells, and contact with others is limited. The main goal here is safety and control, both for staff and other inmates. Supermax prison. Supermax prisons are the highest level of security in the United States. They're designed for inmates who are considered extremely dangerous or who have caused serious problems in other prisons. Inmates are often held in near total isolation, spending up to 23 hours a day alone in a cell. Contact with others is minimal, and movement is tightly restricted. These facilities are rare and are used for very specific cases. Private prison. Private prisons are operated by private companies under contract with government agencies. They can hold federal or state inmates, depending on the agreement. The idea behind private prisons is that a company can manage facilities more efficiently, though this approach has been widely debated. Conditions and standards are still supposed to meet government regulations, but oversight and accountability can differ from publicly run institutions. Military prison. Military prisons hold members of the armed forces who have been convicted of crimes under military law. These facilities operate under the Uniform Code of Military Justice and are separate from civilian prisons. Sentences may include confinement, dishonorable discharge, or other military-specific penalties. Military prisons focus on discipline within the armed forces and are part of a distinct legal system. Juvenile detention center. Juvenile detention centers are for minors who have been accused or convicted of crimes. The system is designed differently from adult prisons, with a stronger focus on education, counseling, and rehabilitation. Youth are separated by age and risk level, and the environment is structured to address behavior and development. The goal is to reduce repeat offenses and help young people reintegrate into society. Immigration detention center. Immigration detention centers hold individuals accused of violating immigration laws, such as overstaying a visa or entering the country without authorization. These facilities are managed by federal immigration authorities or private contractors. Detainees are not serving criminal sentences in many cases, but are held while their legal status is reviewed or while awaiting deportation. The rules in daily life differ from standard prisons, although security measures are still present. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe to our channel.